Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. It seems like, as we were talking about yesterday, that it seems like we're pretty much washed up when it comes to the UAP Disclosure Act. But you know what? We just need to tell the people the truth. People who don't believe in this, people who have no interest in it. It's time that they know the truth. And you know, I put something together here today. I call it the truth of the matter. And it's time that we just start telling everybody. I mean, people that you know, people who that you never talked to about this before, about UFOs and aliens. I mean, you just let them know. Just tell them the truth and tell them with a straight face and tell them it's not really a laughing matter, that there really is something going on here. And the governments of the world have been covering this up. There's an extraterrestrial presence here. They obviously they have trouble trying to give this information to the public for whatever reason. I think it's because they don't want they don't want anyone to know about it, because they are reverse engineering this stuff, and they believe they need to keep the whole thing covered up. But anyway, it's time that we just come clean on this. It's time to end all of this obfuscation, all of these lies, all of this nonsense. It's time to even forget about things like AARO. It's time for the control group actually to step forward and just tell the truth. But without that happening, the only thing that you could do is try to relay that truth ourselves. Is what we have to do. Anyway, I'm going to read. I wrote this afternoon, and I want to go through it. I call it the truth of the matter. Intelligent beings, apparently from planets outside of our own solar system, have somehow made it to Earth and are here for purposes that are presently unclear. These beings possess technology that far exceeds anything manufactured by the human race to this point. These beings possess incredible machines for transportation that are capable of moving through Earth's atmosphere, in and out of the space surrounding the planet, and through water. These craft can fly way faster than any flying machine thus far created by mankind. The beings also possess technology that is capable of turning off a human mind as easily as a human turns off a light using a switch. The beings at any given moment can abduct a human, examine him or her in a laboratory on board their extraterrestrial craft, and then return the human to the same place from which he or she was forcibly kidnapped. In many cases, humans who fall victim to extraterrestrial abductions don't even know they have been abducted. However, some victims notice that they lost time, and some even remember bits and pieces of their abduction experiences. Only under hypnotic regression are abductees able to recall what happened to them while under alien control. It is unknown how many species of extraterrestrials have visited Earth and/or are present here at this moment. Some researchers believe at least one group of extraterrestrials is engaged in a hybridization program, which involves the creation of beings using human and alien DNA. The purpose behind the alleged hybridization program is not clear. It has also become apparent that extraterrestrials are responsible for the mutilation of livestock across the globe, most noticeably cattle. The public became aware of cattle mutilations in the late 1960s, and to this day, law enforcement and federal officials have been unable to provide an answer as to what is responsible for these acts. Examination of cattle carcasses, however, reveal that body parts are removed using precision lasers. Also, blood from the animals in many cases is completely absent. While some officials have blamed natural predators and satanic cults for the mutilations, they have never been able to prove these theories. Conversely, witnesses in some cattle mutilation cases reported seeing UFOs shortly before an animal or animals were mutilated. It is clear extraterrestrials are responsible for the mutilations and are using the parts removed and blood drained for some purpose, possibly for food or for scientific research. Extraterrestrials come in various shapes and sizes and are predominantly humanoid. Some can look human, but others have been reported as short, dwarf-sized creatures that have oversized heads, large, almond-shaped black eyes, and they wear one-piece shiny suits. Some have the features of insects, while others look like reptiles. Robots have also been reported. Some alien beings appear to have only 3 digits on their hands, while others have 4. It has been reported that these beings can communicate either telepathically or empathically. Some alien creatures possess devices that, when pointed at a human, can temporarily paralyze the target. While some real extraterrestrial craft have been captured on film, video, and photographs over the years, it is extremely rare to capture images of alien pilots. One exception occurred over the years 2007, 2008, and 2009, when a Turkish fisherman filmed a series of videos of a craft hovering over the Sea of Marmara. The videos, which many times were filmed as other witnesses watched on, show non-human alien beings inside extraterrestrial craft. Scientists and video experts from 4 countries, after an exhaustive investigation into the videos, deemed that they were authentic, not hoaxed, and depicted strange anomalies. Mainstream news outlets have failed to report on this story, which is why most of the world is unaware of it. Whether extraterrestrials are here to colonize the planet, enslave the human race, help the human race, prevent the human race from destroying itself, observe and study the human race, or a combination of various reasons, the full answer remains a mystery. Since the 1940s, the United States government, working closely with private defense contractors, has had secret covert programs in place to recover any crashed alien craft, to reverse engineer the craft for military purposes, to study recovered dead alien bodies, and possibly captured live alien beings. The United States has successfully maintained its top-secret extraterrestrial exploitation program for at least 76 years now. However, in 2017, the New York Times ran an article by Leslie Kean and Ralph Blumenthal that revealed leaked videos of apparent extraterrestrial-controlled craft captured with military cameras in jet fighters. Since that time, people with military backgrounds have talked publicly about problems that the Navy and Air Force jet fighter pilots experience with apparent extraterrestrial craft, including nearly crashing into them sometimes. Earlier this year, former Navy pilots David Fravor and Ryan Graves told the House committee under oath about some of the strange UFOs they and others had encountered while flying jet fighters. Former Air Force official David Grush also testified under oath about his investigation into what the government knows about UFOs, and said that he learned about secret crash retrieval and reverse engineering programs from people actually working in the programs. The Congress also established a new government office called the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, to investigate UFO claims and to determine whether segments of the Pentagon and or defense contractors have been secretly retrieving crashed alien craft and reverse engineering them. Unfortunately, AARO has been largely ineffective, due mostly to the fact that the Pentagon gets to pick its director. Because the Pentagon wants to maintain the cover-up, it is unlikely AARO will ever accomplish anything. It's akin to allowing the mafia to hire its own investigators to determine if there are crimes getting committed within its own organization. The revelations made by whistleblowers, however, did prompt members of Congress to create new laws in an effort to reveal to the public the truth about the extraterrestrial presence and to end the 76-year-old government cover-up. Last year, the National Defense Authorization Act of 2023 included language designed to protect UFO whistleblowers from reprisals from the group of unelected officials that want to maintain the cover-up. This year, a bipartisan effort sought to include in the 2024 National Defense Authorization Act the UAP Disclosure Act, which would have required government agencies and private contractors to reveal everything they have related to recovered extraterrestrial craft and reverse engineering programs. The act would also establish a panel of citizens who would review the information and determine whether or not it should be revealed to the public. The act, in short, was designed to proceed at a somewhat leisurely pace, with the idea that the public would be informed slowly about the extraterrestrial reality and government cover-up. It was designed to allow people to slowly realize their place in the universe while not shocking them by revealing the full truth of the situation in one fell swoop. Because the effort was bipartisan, it appeared a month or so ago that the UAP Disclosure Act would certainly be included in the 2024 NDAA. However, 5 powerful Republican politicians, including Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, House Speaker Mike Johnson, Senator Roger Wicker, Representative Mike Turner, and Representative Mike Rogers have, according to reports, successfully blocked the legislation from being included. All 5 men receive hefty campaign contributions from several defense contractors, and it is certainly that it is a certainty that defense contractors and Pentagon elements are the ones who want the legislation quashed. While a vast majority of people in Congress believe it is time to end the UFO cover-up, the people responsible for it have ordered their puppets to tank it. While it appears the UAP Disclosure Act is doomed, what is certainly not doomed is the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is simply this: a group of unelected officials are controlling the new UFO narrative in public. The secret control group, by fighting against the legislation, has only hurt their efforts to continue the cover-up. If the government truly has nothing to hide, then it shouldn't be afraid of the UAP Disclosure Act. The problem, however, is that there is something to hide. Extraterrestrials are here, and an elite group has the evidence, but does not want to share it with you. The mainstream media, meanwhile, continues to provide cover to the unelected gatekeepers who refuse to share what they have learned about these alien visitors. The mainstream media is largely a part of the establishment, and the establishment wants to maintain the status quo. With that in mind, media empires that have the resources necessary to uncover the extraterrestrial truth have for decades mostly stood on the sidelines and instead ridiculed the subject. Dr. Gary Nolan, a Stanford immunologist, stated on Twitter X on December 4th, "I've been advocating for greater transparency around UAP for over a decade. Now, Senator Chuck Schumer and Senator Mike Rounds, in a bipartisan fashion, are pushing through an unprecedented bill that will bring it all out into the light. The House Intel and Armed Services are trying to block it. The UAP amendment would create an oversight committee of public hard scientists, economists, social scientists, religious leaders, and ethicists to look into this issue. If there's nothing to hide, why are the aerospace companies and the DoD trying to kill the bill?" Shout out to Representatives Luna, Gates, Moskowitz, and Burchett and others in the House for their work on this. This is about the science and the right to understand. Anyone with an interest in good science should advocate for passage of this bill. We say this here at the Quirk Zone: it doesn't matter. The truth is, we are not alone. If you are a person who has scoffed at the notion of the extraterrestrial visitation or never gave it any credence whatsoever, it is time for you to understand that you've been living a lie. There is an extraterrestrial presence on Earth, and the United States government and other world governments have deliberately kept this information from you and everyone else for at least 76 years. It seems that elements in the United States government felt it necessary to keep anything related to the extraterrestrial reality a secret as they attempted to reverse engineer recovered craft behind the scenes. While it makes sense to keep secret those things learned via reverse engineering programs, it is a crime against humanity to keep secret the knowledge of the extraterrestrial presence. Concerns over how religion will be affected by disclosure, whether there would be a worldwide panic, or whether the stock market will crash are weak excuses to keep this incredible reality from the public. Revealing the truth would more than likely cause the human race to engage in a collective pause, to take a deep breath and realize we are on a path to destruction. Stupid wars, needless violence, unbridled hatred, racism, and intolerance is leading the human race into oblivion. If we work together and attempt to change our behavior, then maybe the human race could begin focusing on traveling into deep space, to other worlds, the same way as the extraterrestrials who are here right now on Earth have obviously been doing. So that's the situation, and people need to know this. There's a lot of people out there in this world who are completely oblivious to what's been going on here. Some people just don't pay attention to the news at all, and they have no idea what's going on. But I think it's really important that people do understand that there is an extraterrestrial presence and that we are not alone in the universe. And it's time that we just, anybody who's in the UFO community, you just start, you bring it up. You start bringing this subject up in front of your family, your friends, whoever. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. Just bring it up. Talk about it. Show them articles, show them books that you read, show them some sort of evidence that convinced you that this is real, or tell them about your own experiences. But what we're doing right here, this is absolutely ridiculous. Everything that we've been doing for decades now. Even what we've been doing right now, like even this UFO disclosure language. Why do we even have to do these things? Why do we need AARO? We should just have these people come out and just tell us the truth already. But obviously, it seems what's been going on here, there's been this effort to do this slow disclosure routine, to drag it all out so people wake up over time to this reality. Well, I say, let's just get it all over with in one fell swoop. Let's just rip that Band-Aid off. That's what I say. Tell people, tell everybody you know. If the people that don't believe in this say, hey, it's time that you open your eyes to this. This is real, man. This is real. This is real. It's time that you realize this already. Anyway, we're going to continue here. We're going to talk about the recent Spotify poll that I ran yesterday. And this was for the episode, Coltart Says UAP Disclosure Act Has Been Gutted by Pentagon Puppets. I asked this question. I asked, why are the 5 politicians mentioned in this podcast blocking the UAP Disclosure Act? I gave 4 different choices. One person, or 2.2%, say they're dumb. Well, I say that too, but I don't think that's the main reason. But yeah, they are dumb for doing this. 7 people, or 16.6%, say CIA threats. It's been alluded to a possibility that some of these people are getting threatened by the CIA, and so they have to do the bidding of the Pentagon and keep this bill from passing. I don't think I buy that one. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's the money, and that's the number. 17 people, or 37.8%, say following donor orders. That's what I say. I believe that that's what it is. And then 20 people, or 44.4%, say all of the above. Okay, all of the above. That's the majority. I'm going with following donor orders, though, personally. Even though I do think that they're dumb, but I just have trouble with the CIA threats one. I find that hard to believe that the CIA is going to threaten people in Congress. I mean, it's just, to me, if that was happening, then these people should step forward and say, I'm getting threatened or blackmailed or something. If I was one of these guys and you're getting threatened like this, I would come out in public right away and say, look what they're trying to do here. Look what they're trying to do. So I don't think that's the case. I don't think the CIA is doing that. Not that they're not capable of doing it. I just don't think it's happening here. That's just my opinion. Doesn't make me right. But anyway, moving on, there was actually an article in The Hill today that actually talked about this even further. I talked about it during yesterday's podcast, but here an article today by Marek von Reinenkampf, and it says here, powerful members of Congress are dead set on killing UFO transparency. It says, since 2020, no fewer than 10 former government officials, military officers, and scientists, along with a former Senate Majority Leader, have alleged or suggested publicly that the U.S. government has recovered advanced craft of unknown origin, that is, UFOs. Nearly all of these individuals also claim that the government transferred multiple craft to defense contractors for scientific and technical analysis. Key members of Congress, drawing on testimony from dozens of whistleblowers, appear to find these extraordinary allegations credible. Yes. Let me just stop there for a second. Of course, I mean, if you're going to be getting these kind of whistleblowers telling you these things behind closed doors, that's why people have to ask yourself this question: why are all these people in Congress pushing this UFO language stuff? That's because they've heard enough, they've seen enough, they understand there's something going on here. There is a cover-up, just like UFO investigators have been telling everybody for decades. Anyway, it continues here. It says, bipartisan legislation sponsored by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer aimed to establish a process with the ostensible goal of revealing the existence of non-human intelligence to the public. But the legislation, which is co-sponsored by 3 Republican and 2 Democratic senators, is now in jeopardy. In comments yesterday on the Senate floor, Schumer stated that House Republicans are attempting to kill another common-sense bipartisan measure passed by the Senate, which I was proud to co-sponsor, to increase transparency around what the government does and does not know about unidentified aerial phenomena. It's actually unidentified anomalous phenomena, Chuck. Anomalous. Anyway, according to reports, Representatives Mike Turner, Mike Rogers, are leading efforts to prevent any meaningful version of the provision from being added to the 2024 National Defense Authorization Act. Now, of course, Turner is the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, while Rogers is the chair of the House Armed Services Committee. So even though there's a whole bunch of Republicans and Democrats, it's bipartisan throughout the House, are ready to pass this with this language in there, these guys, because they're sitting in these as the chairs of these committees, are blocking it they're blocking from including this language in that bill in these committees. Anyway, it says here, members of Congress generally clamor for enhanced government oversight, a core function of the legislative branch, and transparency. So what could cause a small group of influential lawmakers to suddenly resist it? Well, we all know what that is. It's money. They receive campaign contributions from all these defense contractors. That's what it is, and they're being told what to do. Notably, the legislation calls for the U.S. government to reassert control over recovered technologies of unknown origin currently held by defense contractors. Some analysts suspect that corporations potentially holding such exotic technology are exerting undue pressure and influence to oppose the provision in Schumer's legislation. In his only public comments on the legislation to date, Turner denied holding up the measure while adding, "I do think it's a poorly drafted piece of legislation." Okay, it's poorly drafted, according to Mike Turner. Mike Turner, who showed up on Fox News a month or so ago, or a couple months ago, talking about this, saying, "Oh, there's no such thing as UFOs. There's no way you could keep a cover-up of this magnitude. No way, no way, no way." He's been being told what he's been a puppet for the Pentagon this whole time. He knew exactly what he was going to do the second that this stuff showed up in his committee. A closer analysis of Schumer's 64-page bill tells a starkly different and intriguing story. At its core, the Schumer legislation strongly hints that elements of the United States government, in collaboration with defense contractors, have long operated surreptitious legacy programs to reverse engineer retrieved UFOs. Other secret programs supposedly examine biological evidence of living or deceased non-human intelligence. The remarkable nature of Schumer's bipartisan legislation is only trumped by revelations that key members of Congress appear intent on blocking or neutering it for what seems to be no good reason. Well, the reason is because the people covering it up don't want they want the cover up to keep going. They don't want people to know about this. No. It's all about them and what they're doing. They don't care about what the people know. It's all about them. They don't care about what the taxpayers know. They just want their money so they can keep doing what they're doing. If this doesn't get you mad, I don't know what will. Or, if this doesn't, I mean, if you're somebody, say you're somebody out there who doesn't believe in this, right? You don't accept this reality. You don't believe in extraterrestrials. I mean, and you're reading this, you don't believe that there's something going on after reading this? Open your eyes already. What are you, stupid? As Schumer and his co-sponsors suggest, credible evidence and testimony indicates that government records describing UFO retrieval and reverse engineering programs have been concealed from Congress and the public for decades. It's most certainly the truth. Let me just stop there. That is true. There's no question about it. If you were to do your research on this, you would know. The legislation largely mirrors the allegations of David Grush, a decorated former military officer and intelligence official. The intelligence community's internal watchdog deemed Grush's whistleblower complaint credible and urgent. At the same time, an eyebrow-raising report citing multiple sources alleges that a secret CIA unit is overseeing clandestine retrievals of non-human craft. Let me just stop there for a minute. That report, it didn't raise my eyebrows. I already knew that. My eyebrows did not go up like that. When I read that, my eyebrows didn't go up like when I heard about that CIA program, my eyebrows stayed right where they were. I already knew this. Anyway, a core objective of the Schumer legislation is to restore proper oversight over UFO records by elected officials in both the executive and legislative branches of the federal government. As analysts have noted, there are only 2 elected officials in the executive branch, so one of the highest-ranking U.S. senators is implying that some presidents and vice presidents have not been informed of clandestine efforts to retrieve and reverse engineer technologies of unknown origin, UFOs, or examine biological evidence of non-human intelligence. Let me just stop right there. Yes, think about that. They're even keeping this stuff from the presidents. Presidents might be read in on a little bit here and there, but I'm telling you, I don't think that in recent presidents, I don't believe that they've been told anything. They don't know the full extent of this. They probably have some suspicions, maybe some of them, but they don't know about it. They're not being told everything. I firmly believe that. As a remedy to this startling inference, Schumer's legislation mandates sweeping government transparency with subpoena powers. The legislation would establish an independent panel composed of distinguished persons of high national reputation in the fields of national security, foreign affairs, science, economics, sociology, and history to review UFO records deemed too sensitive to release immediately. At a recent academic symposium on UAP, retired U.S. Army Colonel Carl Nell described how this review board might guide the president in methodically revealing the existence of non-human intelligence to the public. Moreover, according to Nell, a core objective of the legislation is averting catastrophic or uncontrolled disclosure. As the Daily Mail put it, a catastrophic disclosure is categorized by a chaotic release of earth-shattering revelations which may result in profound geopolitical, social, or economic turmoil. Let me just stop there. So what? Let's just have it. I don't care. I think we need it all. We need it out there. Let's get it over with. Just rip that Band-Aid off. It's not going to, I think that they're overestimating this stuff. I don't think it's going to be as bad as people think it is. In stark contrast to catastrophic disclosure, the Schumer envisioned controlled disclosure campaign would facilitate a measured, deliberate process to reveal the apparent existence of non-human intelligence. Okay, let me just stop here for a second. Now, just think about the paragraph that I just read here. So basically, they're telling you that they want to do this to slowly let the public know the truth about the extraterrestrial presence. That's what they're saying. So that's all. You might as well just come right out and say it, right? Because you're already admitting it. By doing all these things that we've been doing, that tells you it's already here. There's an extraterrestrial presence here. That's what they're telling you. So I'm just trying to. I guess what are we doing? Why drag it out? You're already basically admitted it by everything that you've been doing here. By everything that Schumer and everyone in Congress is doing, it's like admitting to this already. But they like I said, like I talked about earlier, they wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't real. I mean, so it is real. That's what that means. It is real. That is like disclosure. There we are. Now show us the goods. Now you already admitted it. Now show us. What do you got? Of note, there appears to be some geopolitical urgency to disclosure. High-ranking military and intelligence officials allege that China and Russia may also be attempting to reverse engineer craft of non-human origin. This is echoed in congressional language, warning of the increasing potential for technology surprise from foreign adversaries. See, that's what could be going on here behind the scenes. They want to keep the whole thing secret because they're trying to reverse engineer this stuff that they've recovered, and they want to come up with something before China or Russia comes up with something that they are trying to reverse engineer. That's But anyway, but so what? That could be secondary to all of this, right? But the bottom line is that the world should know the truth that we're not alone here. Moreover, as former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence Christopher Mellon aptly notes, a strategic, methodical disclosure of the existence of non-human intelligence, while potentially destabilizing, could ultimately bear profoundly positive results. And I agree with that statement. I firmly believe in that statement. I think it would be a positive results on this if we had full disclosure, and that's where I stand on it. I believe that it was the best thing we could possibly do. Ripping the Band-Aid off. I don't call it catastrophic disclosure. I call it shock and awe disclosure. Shock them, put them in awe, have the world stand still for a couple of days while everybody ponders it, and then we can all move on. Rather than slowly take that Band-Aid off. Why would you? I don't want to do that. I don't think anybody should want to do that. I think the public just wants to hear it straight. If something's wrong with you, when you go to the doctor and you feel like something's wrong, and the doctor feels like he doesn't want to tell you, you're probably going to say something like, "Just give it to me straight, doc." That's what we're trying to do here. Give it to me straight here. Tell me what's going on. Tell us the truth already. What do you got? Let's see it already. Basically, when you really think about it, though, they've already done it. It's by everything that's been happening here. When you think about all of the stuff that Congress has been doing, and the fact that you have people in the Pentagon and defense contractors blocking this legislation. Okay, why are they blocking it? They're saying the Pentagon's been telling us for years that there's nothing to it. So, but now they're blocking this. I mean, you shouldn't be afraid of anything if there's nothing to it, right? That's because there is something to it. They're basically admitting it, but through their actions. It's time for the whole world to wake up to this. It's time for the mainstream media to finally wake up. Do something on this already. What are you doing? What do you think? You're a bunch of everybody out there is a complete, absolute brainwashed idiot sitting in front of the TV watching your stupid shows every night? No. People out there, our intelligence is insulted by all this. This is very insulting. We just want it to end already. None of this gobbledygook and stretching it out over all these years and blah, 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 blah. We want it now. End it. Bring it out already. Come on. What are you doing? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Well, like I said, they basically admit it. All these things that are, when you put it all when you look at it all in totality, it's like they already admitted it. It's like they had already admitted to the existence of the extraterrestrial presence. They're already admitting it. The only thing they're not doing is showing us what they have. I'd like to see some of the footage from the Roswell crash and other flying saucer crashes over the years that I know that the government has to have stored someplace. Bring it all out. Let's see. What do you learn about the creatures? How many different beings are you aware of out there? We want to know all of it. David Grush has been talking about beings recently. So obviously, you have beings. Come on, what are you waiting for? Let's see it already. We're tired of these stupid games. We're tired of listening to debunkers on the internet tell us nonsense and gaslight other people. Right? We're sick of people like Garrett Graff showing up on Meet the Press, gaslighting the whole world with his stupid viewpoints and dumb book. Right? We're sick of all of it. Just end it already. Anyway, I want to say thank you all for joining me. Until next time.